Hi, welcome to another edition of Engineering with Lego Bricks and Robolab. I'm Eric Wong, and I'll be your host. Okay, quick tutorial on multiple events and how to use those. First off, I just want to make sure I mention that events is supported in both the NXT and the RCX. So this example is going to use NXT as an example. So multiple events. Here I've got set up two touch sensors. So I got one on port 1, another one on port 2. Of course, I have 4 ports on the NXT. I got to set on port 1 and port 2. And I've set them up. Port 1 is set up as the red event, and port 2 is set up as the blue event. Now, when I want to monitor more than one event, I have to daisy chain these together. So I use one event start monitoring, and I daisy chain the red and blue keys together to denote that I want to monitor these both at the same time. If I use two separate start monitoring events, it's going to only monitor the last one. So if I had monitor red and monitor blue, it'd only monitor blue. So if you want to start them both at the same time, in order to monitor both. And then I go in here, and here's my infinite loop. Just placeholder to do something while it's basically will beep forever. And then it comes down and either one of these two events. What happens is all events share the same landing. That's one of the big mistakes that that people tend to make, is all events share the same landing. So if I'm monitoring 4 or 5 events, all of them will come down the same place. So the only way to tell which one occurred was to use something called the event fork or the event container. And the event fork is a little bit easier to use. If you want to get into the event state container, you have to read the book a little bit. The main points for multiple events: you can start multiple events, you can set up multiple events, and you can start them. You want to start them at the same time, or you start them separately, but usually you want to start them at the same time. And all events share the same landing. So those are the points to note. So now the event fork. So now if I want to actually tell which event occurred, well, it's as simple as a fork. I just say, hey, did the red event occur? Yes or no? And then did the blue event occur? Yes or no? And so there's 3 possible conditions. Well, both sensors 1 and 2 occurred because the red and the blue event occurred. Where both sensors 1 and 2 are pushed, or sensor 1 was pushed but sensor 2 was not, or sensor 2 is pushed. Of course, you cannot have this last path, which is neither pushed, because you wouldn't get this far if neither event has occurred. And so I'm just writing to the display of the NXT which sensor was pushed, so I know which event occurred. Of course, I could do this event fork before actually the event occurred, just to check, but in this case I'm just using the event fork to see which one of the 2 events occurred. Okay, so let's see what this looks like when it's running. So here I have a view. It's not a great view, sorry, but it's a little screenshot of the LCD screen. I'm going to go ahead and push run, and you'll hear it start beeping. That's that infinite loop. And you can see it gives you information about sensors 1 and 2. It's 0 because neither is pushed, and 3 and 4 is giving us 1023 because there's nothing attached to them essentially. So I'm going to go ahead and push one of the touch sensors, and you'll see at the bottom of the screen which one was pressed. And the program will end shortly, and that's basically multiple events in a nutshell.